On April 4, 2013, my graduation class and I went to Winterberry Adventure College at the Stony Creek campus, and I was taking pictures while touring the school. I remember we sat in this one big room at a big interview-like table and ate lunch there. I was so excited to attend college, and I was talking about the radio broadcasting program and anything else that was creative that the college offered at that time. But the other students were judging and giving me dirty looks, like, this isn't about you kind of thing. I paid no attention to their negativity towards my future and couldn't care less what they thought of me anymore at that time. I annoyed them by talking about what my future could look like and what I wanted. I was so excited to start a new chapter in my life, but I guess that was something a few of them didn't want for me, and I guess they didn't think I deserved to be happy. But it was the Fennel campus I needed to go to, and one of the lady staff members at the Stony Creek campus, who was a part of the tour, told me that's where the creative programs are, and not the campus we were currently in. The campus we were in was for classes in woodshop, automotive, and so on. And that's all I was interested in and continued talking about, because I never had that kind of interest for any kind of classes or anything like that in a long time. So just going to college or attending one program in any college or university was a dream for me. And it wasn't a goal of mine, like it was an actual dream of mine. I couldn't hold any excitement each time we toured both the Fennel and Stony Creek campuses. But after we got back to Panthers United, I was running barefoot outside in front of the school. I went into the library with Dylan and slammed the door in Principal Gates' face when he called me Elizabeth. He came back into the library after and was on his cell phone the whole time. I put pencil shavings and water by Mr. Turcicle's door before Principal Gates came into the library. Mr. Turcicle came into the room and pointed at me. He demanded, "Come and clean the mess before I involve Principal Gates." I cleaned up the pencil shavings and didn't clean up the water. He said, "What about the water?" I said, "Fudge it." While his students were watching me, I slammed his classroom door, and I went back into the library, not looking back or caring about the mess. I believe he followed me out of the room as well. In Mr. Louis' woodshop class, the students were doing a project, and I farted. and was not embarrassed at all. I was too busy laughing as Darren was choking. Mr. Louis was waiting for us to do our project. He didn't care that I farted. I don't think he could smell it, but he was standing near us. So could he smell it, or was he ignoring the smell? Like it was a normal smell in that room. The fart had a mix of soda and beef burritos, eggs, and acid reflux. Another day in woodshop class on April 5th, 2013, I thought Darren said, "Elizabeth is better than you." I got mixed up with Dumbo. Freddie Wilder said that to me, and Dumbo was denying the whole thing. Darren was confused that I caught him off guard. I broke his heart by saying, "I just want to be friends, and I don't think this relationship is working." After I said that, he put his head down on the desk and started crying. But I didn't see it. I never wanted to give it a chance. I got up to learn more about the saw machines. He ran out of the room when I turned my back. I left the room twice looking for him. When I realized he had left the school, I looked into his locker and his stuff was gone. I did care about him, I just didn't like him the same way he liked me. One day after I had already broken up with Darren, I went to talk to Mr. Turcicle one morning, and I told him I had broken up with Darren, and he was on the computer at the time. So he had his back turned to me when I was in the room, and as soon as I said that, he turned around to look at me and asked me why. I don't remember what I said to him, but I do remember throwing an eraser up into the air and catching it a few times while talking to him. On April 10th, 2013, Legally Blonde the musical was playing live at the Mapleland Theater from April 3rd to April 27th, 2013, and it rocked. I loved the cast and thought the show was amazing. Although it was a little loud, I still loved every minute of it. I said to Della, "The blonde cast member reminds me of Mrs. Collins." Della then laughed. Della was sitting beside me, and we were sitting in the box seats on the second floor. So box 2 seats on the second floor. Okay? I remember the volunteer lady talking to us about how we could volunteer at the theater. Unfortunately, I don't remember her name, but she was really nice to us. And she also let us know that we weren't allowed to take pictures during the show. I was upset that I couldn't take pictures, but I said to myself that it was okay. Legally Blonde, the musical, was the last play I saw before I got kicked out of school in 2013. All the productions I had been lucky enough to attend back then were fantastic and amazing in their own ways. Amazing cast, crew, and so many great talents. But little did I know that I would ever be a part of that community and volunteer with them a decade later. When the show ended, Della, Willow, Benny Arnold, and I went back to school. We ran in the rain to the Main Street East at Victoria Avenue South bus stop, and from the Balsam Avenue South bus stop to Balsam Avenue North. We all got wet from the rain and had the best day ever. Della and Willow said it was so much fun. I smiled when I saw Dad waiting for us at the school in the van. Put my bag in the van, gave Dad a kiss on his cheek, and walked into the school upstairs to the library. Standing at the door with Della, we saw Mr. Churchill with a few of his drivers and students standing outside of the classroom. I heard my name being called down to the guidance office to see Miss Bakerson to get my folder for college. I went into the woodshop room to get my bus tickets to go home. I also went to the guidance office too. I walked outside to the van. We all went home after that. Della and I walked to Mr. Churchill's classroom one day after school in 2013. He was talking to Della and made her cry. Miss Avery walked past us at least 3 times before Della and I finally left the school. I just stood there minding my own business. He didn't understand why she was crying. He was telling us how bad we were and how I convinced Della to hate him, which I didn't. So it was me who caused all the trouble and problems that year. I didn't get her to hate him. I only got her to bug him with me. I didn't think the trouble would escalate to one of us being suspended. I also remember sitting on the window ledge in Mr. Churchill's classroom. Sometimes he would tell us to get off it, and I would get off. Then he would leave the room a few minutes later, and I would go back up onto the ledge and sit there just to bug him. He would get mad every time he came back into the room. It was priceless to get him mad, and I even enjoyed it myself, as I'm sure he did too. He must have been laughing at all the dumb stuff I did on the inside. On April 11, 2013, some of the students went on a trip to go bowling, and we all had fun. After that trip, we went back to the school, and during woodshop, I was wandering around the halls, and another male student dared me to throw small stones into the principal's office, and I did. I then ran as fast as I could into the girls' bathroom. The stones almost hit Miss Avery and Mrs. Berta. They said the stones hit the principal gates. Yeah, right. I got detention sometime after 2 in the afternoon. I sat on the bench just outside of his office where I was giving Miss Berta attitude. I sat there until 3:30 p.m. Mr. Churchill came down and told Camilla Harris I was going to tear down her Pink Day decorations. She said, "I will kill her." I said to her, "You're an idiot." He got mad and stormed out to his car. Mr. Louis asked me where I was, and I said I was caught skipping. Instead of telling him the truth, he told me to not do it again. I got my bus tickets and my stuff, then I went back to sit down on the bench. Principal Gates kept telling me I could leave, but I didn't until the detention was over. I left my detention spot at 3:30 p.m. and never threw any stones into his office ever again. Maybe I should have, considering he had no reason to hate me even before I threw the stones into his office. On April 17, 2013, Tom Rowland smashed a window on the second floor beside the cosmetology classroom. I was in Mrs. Cruz's classroom with her and Mrs. Valley when that happened. They let me use the iron to fix my graduation t-shirt so it could look good for the grad photos. We heard glass breaking. We all then went out of the room, and the school's window in the hallway was shattered. "Get away from that window," I said to Mrs. Valley as I stayed in the classroom. No students were allowed up there until the bell rang. The reason I was up there was because I went to see Mrs. Valley and Mrs. Cruiser every morning that year. Principal Gates was near the staff room after talking with Miss Winter when that happened. Then she walked over to her classroom. Did he get suspended for punching the window and smashing it? In a way, which was vandalism too. You know, I honestly don't know if he got suspended or not. Just before lunch during graduation photo day, I was the last student to get my picture taken. Mr. Churchill was helping me with my grad shirt, like making it look good and professional. He was nice to me that day. And most of the time I was nice, and he was nice, and sometimes we were mean to one another. Mixed feelings, I guess, could have been the reason I was like a toilet seat. 8 paragraphs underneath this one, you will find information on the toilet seat thing. One time I told Mr. Churchill in April 2013 I had this dream that I went to his house and I was sitting on something. I leaned downwards to pet a pony and it showed up. Mr. Churchill said, "I had a horse a long time ago and he bit me in my neck. He took a chunk of my skin out and I got stitches." There were other dreams with him in them, but they were in 2013, 2014, and numerous other dreams after that too. Maybe there should be another part in this book called Panthers United's Dreams, or a book 2 at least, just for the dreams alone, and there are many of them. Let's not forget to include the other dreams of the school staff and students too. Some of the dreams you might laugh at, a few you might think are scary, and some dreams you would say, "Why did she dream that?" I sometimes don't understand how my brain works and why it dreams and does the things it does. I might turn the dreams that I didn't add to this novel into other stories. During Pink Bullying Awareness Day, Adrian was wearing all pink. During lunch, girls were putting nail polish on his nails in the cafeteria. He had the pinkest day spirit, and he won the Pink Day surprise. At the time, Della and Aiden were dating, and it felt like she grew distant from me, and I didn't feel like she was my best friend anymore. The girl I met in 2009, I didn't recognize anymore. It's like she turned bad and into this hateful person when she dated a guy that was a school skipper. He would use girls and dump them. We didn't talk much about him or her together. I wanted to say something, but I couldn't. That was when I noticed Della was not herself. She wasn't happy, and it felt like I couldn't do anything about it, and she never told me they were dating. Because she knew I wouldn't approve of it, I'm sure. It's like she kept it a secret from me because she knew that I wouldn't approve of her dating it. Principal Gates was in the caf and might have helped her at that time. I believe this was during Pink Awareness Bullying Day. In April 2013, before I switched classes from bacon to careers, Della was crying because of Aiden and Mr. Turtsicle. Lee Bentley tried to give Della a hug, but she said no. I said to Della, "You're a nice boy and people put you down, and Mr. Turtsicle even does it." "How do you put up with that?" he said. "I'm used to it." Principal Gates and Mr. Slick talked to Della, and she sat in the office in Mr. Slick's cooking room. Wow. Well, at least Principal Gates cared about one of us. I walked to the guidance office to see Miss Bakerson about career class. I yelled at Mr. Slick and said, "I'm going." The principal just looked up at me and didn't say anything. Also, Miss Avery and Principal Gates didn't look too happy that I was being rude to him, because I was supposed to be better than that. In 2013, during English, sometimes I would hide Mr. Turcicle's coat and some of his other belongings in his cabinet, or sometimes on his printer. I would do it just for fun, to also bug him and try to get him to smile more. And when we toured the Fennel campus on April 30th, 2013, I was overly excited, and I couldn't choose between which campus I loved better, or which one was more beautiful. In a way, they both are. But the one thing I can remember is that the staff who gave us a tour of the college and showed us around the building were amazing and so very kind. And I was in awe of how perfect I thought the college was, and to this day I believe that college is perfection. No one can tell me different. Plus, Mr. V, the Dean of Interdisciplinary Studies at the time, came to visit us at some point during the day, and he was so warm and welcoming when my graduation class toured the Fennel campus. We went to a few different classrooms that were of interest to us, especially to me, including the radio broadcasting and the journalism for newscasting. And I think there were other rooms we went to visit as well, but my brain can only remember those 2 rooms. The staff at the college listened to me, like they truly listened, and they heard me speak. I didn't feel ignored or judged at any time when I was in the building, and I loved every minute of their attention. And I finally found my community, a community that truly cares about their students and what we have to say and what we want in life. And during the tour, they took us to the rooms that I talked about. And at that moment, I believed that this college was where I was meant to further my education and where I truly belonged. But this one girl, Tyla Gardner, who would look at me funny every time I even spoke. And I knew she was interested in the radio broadcasting room like I was. And there was no way she would do the program if I did the program at the same time. Or maybe it was all in my head. But I'm very sure she didn't want me there at all, and I hadn't done anything to her or to any of my other bullies to deserve to be hated and bullied by them at all. And I didn't care what she wanted, and I was going to be a part of whatever program I wanted to be a part of, no matter how long it would take me to get there. I wasn't going to let some bully stop me from asking questions and being open and curious to what life would be like after high school. But other than that, we all had a good time. We ate pizza at the college, and we also got college swag, like bags, pencils, sticky notes, and stuff like that before we had to leave to go back to Panthers United. That day was fun, and I really did admire the staff there when they welcomed us during the tour, and would be happy if we enrolled there when we graduated from high school. As far as I know, most of my 2013 graduation class got enrolled into the Career Pathways program, including me, with the help of registration from Mrs. Bakerson. But unfortunately, I opted out at the last minute due to funding problems and other personal matters I thought were more important to me at the time and needed to be dealt with, so I could finally go to college and embrace my future without worrying about my old high school life. Panthers United won $25,000 for a community lab from a famous computer store. The school received tablets and new computers. Some of the staff and some students had the chance to be in a photo, like Audrey, Mr. Turtsicle, and Louie were among others that took part in the event. I went to that event at the last minute, thanks to Mrs. Cruiser and Mrs. Valley. They signed my form to take part in it. Logan and Natalia ripped the paper to see if the school won, and sure enough, our school did. Everyone was clapping and cheering that our school had won. Mrs. Tyler, Mrs. Weinstein, Principal Gates, and Mr. Mike were also part of the event. As we were leaving the room, I said to Mr. Turtsicle, "Oh, we have class. Too bad it's all third," because I heard him burp. He didn't even say excuse me. That's why I said that to him. And I remember he used to say that to me too. Then Mrs. Weinstein came out of the greenhouse and laughed at him. I never got the chance to use any of the tablets. But that's alright. Doesn't matter now. And that is the end of chapter 9? Yep, chapter 9. I hope you enjoyed this chapter. This chapter was a little fun to write, especially my favorite part of this chapter was writing about the college. It was really a joy. To this day, I'm still a part of the college, like in between. Like they had the my city school I was a part of for a little bit until they closed it down, you know. Seems to me like every time a good program comes to town, they take it away. Like it was doing so well for so many of us. And now it's gone. And I was so close to graduating too. And you know, just when you thought that things were starting to look up, they take the program away and mess it up. Well, it is what it is. I hope that one day it'll come back. I don't know if it will, but here's hoping something like City School will come back to Winterberry College at some point. But yeah, this is probably one of my favorite chapters to have written, especially the college part. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this chapter. If you have any thoughts, comments, please comment down below, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on any of the chapters I've read so far. I hope you enjoyed, and have a good Sunday. Or, in this case, week. Bye.